What is going on, you guys? It is another episode of the Sci-Fly Zone where the multiverse meets the seventh inning stretch. It's your boys Trenton and CJ, and today's destination is taking us back to the Marvel Cinematic Universe as we're going to be breaking down Daredevil Season 2, Episode 4. And man, I mean, this was basically Bullseye's episode.
Yeah, this was sort of a mini Bullseye special presentation in a way. The Marvel Television logo was also blue instead of red in the intro, so that was a nice little touch. Just yeah, a lot of Bullseye in this episode, man, and it was great.
Yeah, dude. And just Bullseye's existence in this show and in this universe is being felt so hard this season. I mean, like, along with the blue Marvel logo in the beginning, they also showed the rose outside the jail in season 1 to the jail escape scene, and now this scene inside the church, in the elevator, Vanessa's nightmare sequence. I love the blue.
Yeah, it's great, man. He really is like you can feel his presence in pretty much any scene, whether or not he's in it. Like he has something to do with it, or he has something to do with one of these characters involved. And he's an intricate part of this season, and it wouldn't be the same without him. And he's been so great.
Yeah, 100%. So I love that at the beginning when he was making eggs, I should have known better to look at the counter and be like, yeah, that dirty counter is not Fisk's counter. But when he was making eggs, I totally thought like, oh, are we getting another omelet scene? Because in the original 3 seasons of Daredevil, I mean, we were getting omelets left and right. And Dax is now making eggs of his own, but different kind of eggs. He's not making an omelet because he's making for the kitty.
Yeah, that was really good. I like that a lot. Kind of a callback to, like you mentioned, the Wilson Fisk making his own eggs in the Netflix series. But yeah, he also like wrote out like his Bullseye logo on the pan with the oil, which I thought was a really nice touch. And yeah, you mentioned he made it for the cat. This is like a very big nitpick. It's really nothing at all, but obviously they're not going to give a cat a real egg for the scene for him to eat, so they use a fake egg, but it's made out of like ceramic or glass or something, and you can hear it clink against the glass plate when he puts it down. It's like it wasn't something big at all, but it was like, okay, I get it, but like that was it's like they almost added in the sound of the clink from the fake egg. It was funny.
Yeah. Or he just overcooked the bottom.
Oh yeah, or it was just super tough.
Yeah,
It was the first time making
but somehow he kept the yolk yolky.
it. Yeah.
But there were also like multiple nods to the original Daredevil show in this episode outside of the omelet stuff, like with Matt going to church and getting flashbacks of when he was a kid. And they even used the same child actor who was in the original as well, which I thought was nice because in season 1, when they did a kid flashback, they used a different kid. So now it's cool that like now we're going back to the old kid, the original kid. And no diss to the new kid. You know, it's not your fault, but it's just, you know, we as Marvel fans love continuity, and I do love that kind of continuity, and especially for it to be at that same church where so much has happened in those original 3 seasons. It's so nice to know that like all of that was not for naught.
Yeah, 100%. It's a great point, and yeah, I'm glad they brought back the original child actor for that. We basically got like direct scenes from the Netflix show as like flashbacks. It's super cool. And I love how they're bringing back these familiar locations for Born Again. Like they're not completely forgetting about it. They're going back to Bogwell's gym. They're going back to the church. They're at Josie's diner. Like you can tell that there's a lot of respect paid to the Netflix era of this show, because they're not just it doesn't feel like a completely different show. It feels like season 5 of Daredevil, and I think it's really great that they're staying true to that.
Yeah, and this episode is actually currently the highest rated episode of television on Disney Plus right now.
Wow, that is huge. That's a big accomplishment, and honestly, rightfully so. They absolutely deserve that rating.
Yeah, 100%. So back to Bullseye, or should I say Tony. What do you think of the new life that he's built for himself for the last 6 months? Also, he's gotten thick. Did you see when he was doing push-ups? I mean, damn.
My goodness, yeah, he's got a dump truck back there for sure. I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, man, it's he's in a really interesting spot with his life right now, because it feels like he is looking for purpose, like he's looking for something to do with his life, and like he's currently going on this arc of like wanting to be a good guy, and he wants to do what's right, whether that be like what's right in his mind or what's actually right. Could be two different things, but it really does feel like he's trying to change and trying to like make improvements, and yeah, just like find purpose with something to do, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree. He definitely has a calmness to him now. He feels like he's in the right spot.
Yeah, 100%. He's like Wilson Bethel's portrayal of this character, especially in that diner scene, has been absolutely incredible. Like his demeanor is so good. The way he plays the character, he's got like this calm intensity to him, where like you can tell his heartbeat is resting, but he's still doing some crazy stuff. And he's just super chill with it and very calm. You know, he's one of the good guys now, like he told that guy in the diner.
Yeah, and I also liked when he flipped a coin into the baker's cup, and then Matt did the same thing later when he returned that same coin to the church that Bullseye grabbed it from.
Yeah, yeah, that was a good touch. They're both extremely accurate. You know, they as much as Matt might not want to admit it, they have a lot more in common than they probably would like to admit.
Yeah, they both have very nice bods.
Yes, that's true. They're both hot. Yeah,
But also his outfit when he walked out was hilarious. Like nobody noticed the 10 knives sticking out from under his jacket.
yeah. I don't know how I don't know how he got there, but yeah, good for him, I guess.
Yeah, and he used those knives very well. I mean, the fight scene with the task force here was just insane. I mean, bro can spit anything, throw anything, throw it without looking while bouncing it off walls and other objects, including lobsters now. Let's add that onto the list. Just that's crazy. But just using the task force call service to bait them into thinking that they could nab the Punisher at the diner is just hilarious. He's a psycho, but like you said, he's one of the good guys now apparently, and he's not killing innocent people anymore. He's killing the bad guys.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, 100%. He just delivers it so deadpan, just so monotone too. Oh no, he has a gun. Pounds the milkshake real quick. He really enjoyed that banana milkshake. And then yeah, man, that fight scene was just the ricochets off the boots and off the plates and everything. It was so cool.
Yeah, dude. And sucking the milkshake in one go is insane. Like, do you think Dex likes having a sugar high before he goes on his killing sprees?
Yeah, that might be it. Yeah, he's like amping himself up. It's his pre-workout or something.
Yeah, and how many mass murders does he have under his belt now? It's got to be at least 4 or 5 now, right? And he does one more, so he's just lethal as hell. And him leaving the logo on the door on the way out, that was just chef's kiss.
Yeah, drawing the bullseye logo and ketchup on the door was so good, man. It's just this was such a fun scene. I've heard like several people who work in Marvel, like Brad Winderbaum and people like that, saying that this diner scene is like one of the best scenes they've done, one of their favorite things. It's like you have to watch this diner scene. It's incredible. They literally released the clip of the diner scene like to the public before the episode came out because they were just like, oh, we got to show people this. So like, and it didn't disappoint at all. It was an incredible scene to watch.
Did they include the part of the guy choking out with a knife in his throat?
Um, I don't think so. I don't know if they were left to
Because
show
that
that
was
on
in there. He was dying.
Yeah, yeah.
But speaking of that end scene that we were talking about at the end of the episode regarding Bullseye, I mean, one, he took out so many task force agents again, and he came so close to offing Vanessa right then and there. Like, just like nope, you're done. But at least it seems like she has something resembling a chance. And I was honestly surprised at how well Fisk even defended against Bullseye's throw. But damn, dude, that shard. Oh my god.
Yeah, that loose shard was. It is not looking good for Vanessa. There is a chance that she doesn't die. It seems not super likely that that is the case, but yeah, this was intense. I'm honestly shocked that they did this in episode 4, halfway through the season. I thought there was a chance that maybe Vanessa was gonna die, but I figured it would be like towards the end. But if this is where it's going to be, then I mean it's ballsy. But you know, if this is where she dies, we're just going to get the most unhinged kingpin that we've ever seen.
Yeah, dude, for real. But luckily, Matt came in there and prevented any more damage from happening because I think Matt's right that Fisk cannot be turned into a martyr from Bullseye, which I do kind of like that conflict between them.
Yeah, yeah, it's nice that they have a common enemy, but Matt knows that if you kill him, then his followers are just going to get more riled up, and it's going to almost make things worse in a way.
Yeah, 100%, bro. And one more thing about Dex too. How do you feel about him like asking Matt essentially for permission to kill Fisk and like redeem himself in a way, which also kind of reminded me of when Frank accused Matt of doing the same thing in season 1. because Dex is trying to do something resembling a good change because he explains his actions, regarding Foggy, regarding all the other people, and he regrets it while still wanting to kill Fisk as a way of like this whole right my wrongs.
Yeah, it does feel like he's trying to make things right or make things as right as he can. He is basically asking permission from Matt and asking him if he can do this. He wants to be in people's good graces. He wants to be thought of highly by his peers. He wants respect. He doesn't want to be this evil guy that everyone's scared of.
But here's the thing. I don't want to be the bad guy anymore.
He wants to like make a change for good. And I thought it was really interesting, the parallels, like you mentioned, like kind of what Frank was insinuating. That's what Matt was doing when he went to his hideout, asking him for permission, and Bullseye kind of doing the same thing. Both, by the way, asking for permission to kill Wilson Fisk. So that tells you a lot about him and how much people hate him.
Yeah, dude. So now let's get into Matt a little bit for this episode. I love that when he showed up at Bullseye's crime scene, that he used basically just local corruption to his advantage, wearing the task force gear to go undercover to investigate everything, and just went super aggro on the real detectives. Would be like, hey, you want this to get dirty? Let's get dirty. Task force gets dirty, and they're like, nah, it's fine.
Yeah, he's using the corruption to his advantage. This is like one of the only times where them not needing to carry around an ID or identify themselves is like it works in Matt's favor, because what are they going to do? They can't make him prove that he is who he is. That's the point of the task force. You don't have to do that, really. You don't need warrants. You can kind of just do what you want. So yeah, those are really smart move by Matt. And also having to pretend like he can see, not that he's blind. So it's Charlie Cox acting as a blind man, pretending to be able to see, which I think is really funny.
Yeah, dude. But him finding the coin at the diner and then tracking that back to the church and then tracking the church to his apartment, like Matt's a genius detective.
Yeah, he is so smart, dude. Those last like couple scenes of the show, it's a lot of like just Matt and Fisk and Poindexter. It's like Matt's at the diner, and then he goes to the church, asks about Poindexter, and then he goes to his apartment and they fight. And then you have the Wilson Fisk fight. So like the last like 15 minutes of this episode are stacked and full of just action.
Yeah, dude. And we also find out that Swordsman essentially just going to be funding Daredevil's adventures at this point. He's going to be bankrolling him. Like, who knows how beneficial this could be for him and the good guys down the line? Because, the Avengers needed a Tony Stark.
Oh, actually, he's the boss. I just pay for everything. And
Now the Defenders, quote unquote, have their Swordsman.
Yeah, dude. That's a huge get for the good guys. Like having that resource now, after they definitely didn't have anywhere close to that kind of resources a couple months ago when they were hiding out at Josie's. They don't really have access to this kind of money that can help them out. But Swordsman does, and that is huge for them. That's a great move by Swordsman.
Yeah, dude. And him saying to Daredevil that he's become more than a hero and that he's a symbol of hope for the city was awesome to hear. Like, it just goes to show how far Matt's come from just trying to protect a few people around Hell's Kitchen. Like, he's gone way far beyond that at this point, and how much like his ethic and his methods are honored by like the real people of New York. And also just how much they developed Swordsman in these 2 seasons of Born Again has also been incredible.
Yeah, he's been a great character to watch over time, and in Hawkeye too, his development's been awesome. And I really like that he said that to Matt, that he's like a symbol of hope for the city now. And like you mentioned how far Matt Murdock, the character, has come, but the Daredevil show as well has also come extremely far, from the Netflix era to like not being allowed to reference even the Marvel characters. Like you couldn't say Thor or Iron Man. You'd have to say like the guy with the hammer. And now they're at the point where Daredevil is probably Marvel's most successful show of all time. It's their most popular show currently.
And he was in a Spider-Man movie.
And he was in Spider-Man, dude. Like he's getting integrated into the actual Marvel world. He's not an outsider anymore. The show isn't an outsider anymore. It's just so great to see. And I love how much people are engaging with it and loving the show, because like they should. And Matt Murdock and Daredevil needs to be in more projects in the future.
I totally agree. And it definitely seems like we're heading that way with season 3, confirming that Iron Fist and Luke Cage are going to be in it. And it seems like we're getting a Luke Cage for Mayor storyline as well, which would go right in tandem with Fisk being removed from Mayor. Because now, if the vigilantes can take the power back and secretly have one of their own in government, How awesome would that be for them?
Yeah, it would be so sick, man. That timing would work so well.
Yeah, bro, that would just be crazy. Also, what do you think about Matt letting Angela Del Toro, now the new White Tiger, to be the one to take the SD card with all the prisoner statements about the Northern Star to BB, despite all the task force dangers, and having her friend, the one who was involved in the liquor store incident a couple episodes ago, to be the one to help her do it?
I really like that she's getting involved with it still. Um, and they're involving her in a way that like is not in direct combat or fighting, where it like wouldn't make a ton of sense because she doesn't have a lot of experience fighting. She's helping out in non-physical ways and like ways that will keep her safe and also keep the other people safe because they're like hiding from Fisk and the AVTF. So yeah, I think it's great that she's a part of the team and she's helping out. I do think it's funny that it was Karen and Angela were like face to face, like very close, whispering to each other. It was like nobody else in the room really heard the conversation. But then Karen looks over to Matt across the room because she knows that he's got crazy hearing and is also loves to eavesdrop and listen to other people's conversations. So she's like, well, he's definitely listening to this conversation. What is he going to think about it? And yeah, I just thought that was a nice touch. But yeah, I'm for Angela helping out. I think it's great.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like, I think it was the perfect mission for her to do. You know, it's not too risky. Just get information to someone.
Yeah, it's a good starter mission. Yeah.
Yeah, and Christoffy also showed up, the Northern Star's captain's first mate. He got back in touch with the gang. Pretty cool. I'm also happy that Kirsten, reluctantly agreed to be present for taking his statement so that they can properly begin to take it through the legal channels. He's a sneaky guy, though, isn't he? Like, we didn't know where he was for a while, but too bad Buck Cashman is a bit sneakier, unfortunately. And it sucks that Cashman got to him because Christoffy had so much dirt on Fisk as well. But, we just, again, Buck fixes another liability.
Yeah, man. It sucks for Christoffy, man. He is just trying to do what's right, trying to fix things. And he was very helpful giving them the information that he had. But when you're going up against Fisk and giving information about him, that just puts you in even more danger and puts you at even more risk. And yeah, Buck Cashman has been Fisk's guy. He's been the guy that's been taking care of things for him all season. And yeah, man, I feel bad for him. They've taken out both of the Northern Star members now.
Yeah, so besides that video, which who knows how well they'll be able to just dismiss that and call it coercion or hearsay or whatnot. So just really unfortunate that they're both dead. But let's talk about Buck really quick. Like, he's insanely good at his job, as he's proven throughout these 2 seasons. I mean, on top of killing whoever Fisk has ever needed, he's got a quick draw. In reference to that scene with Mr. Charles, like, Charles just showed up being all vague, hilarious, but also like 2 steps ahead of everyone, questioning Fisk's authority to his face, mocking him to his face. And Buck somehow managed to like pop both of his dudes who had fully automatic machine guns and like draw the upper hand back to Fisk and him. Like, I like his character a lot.
Yeah, that was really impressive by him. His character's really grown on me. I like that he's not just British Wesley anymore. He's his own guy. He's his own character. He has his own relationships. I like his stuff that he's doing with Daniel. That's really cool. Him and Heather might have something. So yeah, he's a super interesting character, and he's the perfect guy for Fisk. He's like exactly what he needs. This is kind of like one of the first times that we've seen Fisk feel like he's in power or in charge in a scene with like Mr. Charles or someone or like the governor. He's kind of had his power checked a lot so far, but this is the first time where he kind of has the upper hand. And he does it not by politicking, but by being a mob boss and having his guy kill the other guys. So, like, at that point, there's nothing really Mr. Charles can do when he's got a gun pointed at him. So that's what Wilson does best. That's how he's gotten to where he is right now.
Yeah, man, totally. And I have a very heartbreaking theory. I think that Buck is going to be the one to kill BB Urich for leaking the information about the Northern Star, and her death will be punishment for Daniel not telling Fisk or Buck about BB being the Fisk impersonator sooner, which I think having to live with that punishment would in a way be worse than dying. Like, knowing you had the chance to flip sides, because BB did give him the chance to flip sides, expose Fisk, get him locked up, but he stayed complicit. And now, because someone else has died because of his actions, he's in too deep.
Yeah, man. Damn, that is a really good theory. I hope it doesn't happen because I don't want BB to die. She's great.
I don't either. And like it would be so tragic because of what happened to Ben Yorick.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, it would be.
But like
Yeah.
story-wise, it makes perfect sense. Plus that trunk shot and Daniel's reaction.
I
Like
was I was thinking the exact same thing. Maybe it is her in that trunk. Uh, Man, that'd be devastating. Because if Buck is the one to do it too, he's been building a good relationship with Daniel over time. Like Daniel's growing on Buck. So if he is the one to have to do that to kill his best friend, like, oh man,
and Buck
what would?
wouldn't give a shit.
Yeah, no, he would. He wouldn't have an issue with it at all. Yeah, no. What would Daniel's reaction? What would he do? Would he fall in line?
I think it's either he falls in line or he inevitably goes to Daredevil and then he dies
Mm.
after Fisk finds out.
Yeah,
It's one or the other.
yeah. Oh man, I don't want them to die, but they
No,
would. It
but
makes
it's
so
like we've
much
been saying,
sense.
your first job with Fisk is your last job.
Yeah,
I also think Buck's going to be the way that we do get the James Wesley cameo. Like maybe through him being on the receiving end of a monologue from Fisk about Wesley being his past right-hand man and how his mistakes got him killed. And that Buck needs to make sure that mistakes like that don't happen again. But he kind of, in a way, made a mistake this episode because he wasn't there to protect Vanessa. He was out handling the Northern Star stuff. So I think maybe Fisk might be mad at him for that, even though he obviously told him to go.
yeah. Because if Buck was there, it could have been a totally different situation, and it could have been avoided. So maybe he is gonna put that blame on Buck. With how many parallels this show has had, that is totally a possibility that they do it. I mean, he's taken over the role that Wesley had. He's basically, I mean, British Wesley, as I said earlier, but he's not. He's his own character now. But he is the guy that is filling in for Wesley. So if he were to have a similar fate in a way, or if he were to, yeah, man, it could make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I am excited for that cameo though, because I did really like Wesley's character.
Yeah, he was great. He was really fun to see on screen. We also haven't gotten Foggy yet, but he's gonna be in the show in some way, right? It's probably a flashback, almost definitely a flashback, but we haven't gotten that yet.
Yeah, or kind of Matt going a little mental and hearing him talk to him.
Yeah, yeah, or yeah, like kind of like how he heard his dad talking to him at the gym.
Yeah, or like when Fisk was talking to him, like Foggy will be the angel on his shoulder per se.
Yeah, oh, that would be great. That would be really nice.
But let's talk about Fisk and Vanessa really quick because this episode had them in quite a back and forth, I feel like. Earlier in the episode, she felt shut out, disconnected from Fisk because she couldn't attend the fight because he had her go to a meeting with the governor. But by the end of the episode, clearly none of that is going to matter because she could be dead by the end of next episode. So, do you think if she lives, she'll stay with them? Because this is the third time that someone has made an attempt on her life. Once by Madame Gao, and then once in OG season 3 in the finale between Fisk, Daredevil, and Bullseye. He did go after her at some point during that fight, and then Bullseye again in this episode. Like, he wants her dead, dude.
Yeah, he really does. He does want her dead, and he's gonna keep trying if she's not. I mean, I don't see her leaving Fisk if she does survive. I don't know why. I feel like because like she wants to be involved with his business, right? Like he's trying to push her away to keep her safe, but she's like, no, let me be involved. I want to be involved.
Yeah, and also, it's not even just her. Like, he wants Fisk dead equally as much. Like, he's going after both of them, whoever he can get.
Yeah, and it's not like Bullseye's gonna stop trying to kill Vanessa if she leaves Fisk, right? Like he's not trying to kill her because she's with Fisk. He's trying to kill her because of how she manipulated him. So like he's not gonna stop going after her regardless. So maybe she's safer with Fisk. I mean, she could probably handle herself with most things, but like just being with Fisk and having his task force at her disposal, like I don't know if she's gonna want to let go of that.
I mean, she didn't even want the task force to take her away, though. She wanted to finish the job. She
Yeah.
pushed him out of the way.
Yeah, yeah. We saw Kingpin holding a gun too. How many times have we seen that? He does not hold or use guns really.
Yeah, nah, he likes to use his fists.
Yeah, he likes to
Wilson
get personal.
fists.
Wilson fist. Yeah, that's right.
last but not least, last thing we need to talk about here, BB Urich. I do like that she called out Fisk's task force violation of constitutional rights basically lately, like their lack of due process, unlawful search and seizures, unlawful detention. Like, good shit, because we saw them doing exactly that during this episode when they showed up at Kirsten's law office, just throwing papers everywhere, you know, harassing everybody looking for swordsmen. Yeah, like he's gonna be under that file of papers. Yeah, just insane corruption. And they literally said, we do not care about having to do anything. We can just walk in because the law currently allows us to under this mayor.
Yeah, I mean, Kirsten's trying to like cite law and like make it professional. It's like, you know, you have to have a warrant to do this. Powell's like, I don't care. I don't want a warrant. She's like, I have attorney-client privilege. You can't be doing this. He's like, I don't care. I'm gonna do it. I want to do it. We don't need to follow your laws. We're following Wilson Fisk, and we're doing what he tells us to. Like, they just, so much corruption, man. They suck.
Yeah, and BB's probably going to have to be even more careful now with how she's reporting on stuff, because she is calling out a lot of stuff. And Daniel, who she's been secretly getting information from, obviously does work for Fisk. And when she got the SD card from Angela Del Toro's friend, he was like, what was that? Are you gonna say anything? Dude, he's so good at playing it off. Like, the way they shot that scene was just so perfect at like leaning you in one way or the other way, you know?
Yeah, it was done really well. You can see like his befuddled expression behind her, just looking at her, like extremely sus. He knows that something has to be up, but then he's just like, oh, I didn't know I was on a date with a celebrity. That's cool. Good for you. So yeah, he played it off well, but he's definitely suspicious of what's going on, and especially after that conversation that they had at the dinner table, he's definitely going to be poking and prodding some more and trying to find out some information from her.
Yeah, dude, and he literally eyed her pocket.
Yeah, he was he was basically he watched the whole exchange. It was right in front of his face, not subtle at all, and he picked up on it. You know, he's been working with Fisk now, so he's not a lot is going to get past him. He's learned how to sniff out some lies and tricks.
Yeah, that's been episode 4 of Daredevil. Leave down in the comments what you guys think is going to happen for next episode, for the rest of the season, any theories, stuff for next season. We would love to hear it, what you liked, what you didn't like, all that good stuff. But please hit that like button, please hit that sub button. We would love for you guys to join the channel here. And just, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. We cover Marvel stuff, DC stuff, and we also cover Major League Baseball. So if you like any of those things, feel free to stick around, and we hope to see you on the next one. Peace.